This story was sent to me earlier this week. I'll read it exactly the way it was written. I brought the rug home on a Saturday afternoon, a little after 3. The sun was still coming through the blinds when I unrolled it. I spread it out across the living room floor and stepped back to check the edges. That's when I noticed a small dent, about the size of a fist. I didn't think much of it. Old rugs always have pressure marks from the previous owner. I figured I just didn't notice it when I picked it up earlier. I smoothed the corners again and took another quick look. The dent looked like worn-down fibers, nothing unusual. I didn't bother staring at it any longer. I walked around the rug, checking how it fit with the room. Everything felt normal, just another piece of furniture being arranged. After that, I sat down at the coffee table with my laptop, answered a couple of emails, sorted through some files. Nothing strange was on my mind. At one point, I glanced at the rug again, mostly out of habit. The dent looked the same, maybe even a little lighter. But I didn't pay attention to it. It wasn't important. When I stood up and stretched, I barely remembered it was even there. I turned off a few lights, grabbed some water, and went back to whatever I was doing that evening. By the time the night settled in, the rug and that dent felt like the kind of tiny detail you forget as soon as you stop looking at it. I was watching TV that night, not thinking about the rug at all. At some point, I glanced toward it without meaning to. The dent was gone, perfectly gone, like the fibers had just lifted back up on their own. I sat forward a little, more curious than worried. Old rugs do weird things, I told myself. Sometimes the fibers spring back after a bit. Still, I didn't remember it looking that smooth when I first unrolled it. I muted the TV just to double-check I wasn't imagining it. The rug looked completely normal. Too normal, maybe, but I brushed that off. I even walked over and pressed my foot lightly on a corner to see how the fabric reacted. It didn't do anything special. Just a soft rug being a soft rug. I stood there for a second, waiting for some reason. Nothing happened. So I turned the TV back on. After a few minutes, I honestly forgot about the whole thing. It felt like the kind of tiny household oddity you only notice because you're alone. I wasn't uneasy yet, just puzzled in a forgettable way. A couple of days passed without anything unusual. Work, home, dinner. Everything felt normal. Then one evening when I came back, the living room light was on. I paused, trying to remember if I'd left it that way. It didn't seem like something I would do, but I wasn't completely sure. I stood there a moment, thinking through my morning routine. Nothing came to mind. Still, lights turn on accidentally sometimes. Maybe I brushed the switch on my way out. I walked into the living room and turned on all the remaining lights. The click sounded a little louder than usual, but that's probably just because the house was quiet. I didn't think too hard about it. Not yet. But I did notice myself glancing at the rug again. Not because I was scared, more like I wanted to confirm it still looked the same. And it did. Completely fine. No dents, no marks, just a rug on a floor in a quiet room. I told myself I was overthinking a couple of meaningless details. But even then, I think a small part of me felt something shift. Just a little. Not enough to call it fear, just enough to make me pay attention. The odd things didn't stop after the light. They just spread. Little noises started coming from the living room at night. Soft ones. The kind you don't notice unless you're listening for them. But once you hear them, you can't unhear them. Sometimes it sounded like a tap. Sometimes like fabric shifting. Sometimes like something settling where it shouldn't be. Always in the living room. Never anywhere else in the house. I tried telling myself houses make sounds. Pipes, wood, whatever. But these weren't those sounds. These came in short bursts, like someone testing the space. Almost like checking if I was awake. I stopped going into the living room without looking around first. I'd step in and pause, waiting for the air to feel normal. But it never did. There was always this light pressure, like the room had been moved half an inch from where it belonged. I tried to ignore it, but the rug kept pulling at my eyes, even when nothing was on it. Even when I swore there was nothing wrong, it felt like the next sound was already on its way. 3 days later, I walked into the living room and froze. The rug had another dent. Same size as before, same shape, but a different spot this time. Like whatever made it had taken a small step. I didn't walk any closer. I just stared at it from the doorway. The room felt heavier, like the air thickened around that one point. I kept telling myself to blink, to look away, to do anything else. But my eyes stayed locked on it. I swear the dent looked deeper the longer I watched, like something was still pressing down. I checked the window. Closed, locked, no draft, no one inside but me. I turned away just for a second, just long enough to swallow. And when I looked back, it was gone. Completely gone again. The fibers were smooth, perfect, untouched, like the rug was hiding what it just showed me. I stepped back without meaning to. My heel hit the wall. That was when I realized the rug wasn't the only thing paying attention anymore. The strange things started stacking up after that. Little shifts I couldn't explain. My phone screen would light up on the table, even when no one touched it. Chairs would sit a little crooked, like someone nudged them. Nothing dramatic. Nothing loud. But always in the living room. Only the living room. I'd fix something, and the next day it would be slightly off again. Not messy, just adjusted. As if someone wanted the room arranged a certain way. I stopped pretending it was my imagination. Every time I stepped inside, something felt expectant. Like the room was waiting for me to notice the next small change. The rug sat in the same place, but it felt different now. I couldn't shake the feeling that something had started using it. A surface. Or a doorway. Or I don't know. I tried not to look at it too long. But somehow, my eyes always drifted back. And every time they did, the room felt a little less like it belonged to me. I was on the phone with a friend when it happened. Just pacing around the living room, not really thinking. And then my foot stopped mid-step, because the rug wasn't empty anymore. Two dents. Not small ones. Full-sized. Shaped like feet. Side by side. Facing me. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe for a second. My friend kept talking, but his voice felt far away. The dents weren't fading this time. They were holding. Like weight was still on them. Like someone was standing there right now. I whispered my friend's name without meaning to. My throat felt tight, like something was pressing in the room. I backed up slowly, keeping my eyes on those shapes. There was no sound, no shift, no explanation. Just the outline of someone who should not be there. Still there. Still standing. I stayed on the phone, but I wasn't really talking anymore. I was just staring at those two dents. They didn't move. They didn't soften. They didn't sink any deeper. They just stayed exactly the same, like whoever made them hadn't lifted their feet. My friend kept asking what was wrong. I couldn't get the words out. It felt like if I spoke too loudly, whatever was there might hear me. I took one tiny step back. The dents didn't react, but the room felt tighter, like the walls shifted a little closer. I tried staring at the rug without blinking. I thought maybe they'd fade like the others did, but they didn't. Not even a little. The longer I watched, the more certain I became. Someone was still standing there, just not visible. Not to me. My friend finally raised his voice, asking if he should come over. I still didn't answer right away. I was afraid turning my head would change something, or let something move. When I finally managed to speak, it came out small and thin. Come, now. The dents didn't shift. They just waited. And I felt like I wasn't supposed to see what would happen next. I didn't hang up. I just stood there with the phone pressed to my ear. My friend kept saying he was on the way, but I barely heard him. The dents stayed exactly where they were. Perfect outlines. Perfectly still. I kept expecting them to fade, or sink, or shift. But they didn't. Not once. Not even when I forced myself to blink. The room felt wrong in a new way. Not just heavy occupied. Like someone else was breathing in there with me. Only I couldn't hear it. My hands started shaking so badly, I had to hold the phone with both hands. I didn't dare step forward. I didn't dare look away. It felt like I was watching someone who was watching me back. My friend said he was pulling up outside. The dents didn't care. They didn't respond to anything. They just stayed. And the whole time, I kept thinking, if they move, I won't be fast enough. I heard the front door open before I saw him. My friend called my name, loud enough to shake me, but the dents didn't move. They stayed pressed into the rug, like whoever made them was still rooted there. My friend stepped into the living room. The moment he crossed the threshold, something shifted. Not a sound. More like a release. The dents softened a little. Just a little. I pointed at the rug, but my voice barely worked. He squinted, trying to see what I was talking about. While he looked, the dents slowly started rising. Like whoever was standing there was lifting their feet, inch by inch. My friend finally froze as he saw them fading. Neither of us spoke. We just watched the fibers fill themselves back in. It took longer than it should have. Too long. Like the rug didn't really want to let the shapes go. When the surface finally smoothed out, my friend looked at me and said we needed to get rid of it. Right now. I didn't argue. I couldn't. We didn't waste time. We grabbed opposite corners of the rug, trying not to touch the middle. It felt heavier than before. like something was still inside it, pulling down. My friend asked if I was sure about throwing it out. I didn't even answer. I just wanted it gone. We dragged it through the hallway. Every step felt slower than the last. The rug kept folding in ways it shouldn't, like it was resisting us. When we reached the front door, the weight shifted again. For a second, I thought the dents might come back. I almost dropped my side. We hauled it outside anyway. Down the steps, into the parking lot. We left it by the dumpster without looking back. I didn't care who found it. I just needed distance. When we walked back into the house, the living room felt lighter. Empty, but in a normal way. Like something had been unplugged. I kept waiting for a sound, or a shift, or anything. But nothing happened. Nothing at all. And somehow, that silence felt just as wrong. Months went by without a single incident. No lights turning on. No noises. No dents. I started to think maybe the rug had been the whole problem. Maybe getting rid of it ended everything. I didn't relax, not really, but I stopped checking the living room every time I walked past. Then 3 days ago, I came home from work, opened the door, and the living room light was on, bright, just like before. I didn't move at first. I just stood there, staring at that glow. My keys felt heavy in my hand. It was the same feeling I'd had the first time, like someone had been standing there a moment ago. I stepped inside anyway. The air felt slightly warmer in the middle of the room. Too familiar. I tried telling myself it was nothing, that maybe I forgot the switch. But I already knew I hadn't. The house felt occupied again, and the living room was waiting for me to notice whatever came next. I walked in slowly, trying not to look at anything too hard. But my eyes landed on the sofa before I could stop them. There was a dent. Small. About the same size as the first one on the rug, pressed into the cushion like someone had been sitting there a moment earlier. My stomach dropped. I stepped closer without thinking. The air around it felt wrong again, like the room had shifted a little to the left. When I leaned in, the dent twitched. Just a tiny lift, like it sensed me. I stumbled back and grabbed my phone. I didn't call anyone this time. I just left. Walked out the door without locking it. I practically ran toward my friend's place without thinking. I didn't look behind me. At my friend's place, I tried convincing myself I imagined it. But I knew the pattern. I knew exactly how it started last time. A small dent. A soft rise. A room waiting for me. And I couldn't stop thinking, if it followed the same steps before, it wasn't finished yet. It's been 3 days. And today, I came back. I don't know why. Maybe I needed to see it with my own eyes. The house looked normal when I walked in. Quiet. Still. Nothing out of place at first. For a second, I almost believed it was over. But then I looked at the sofa. Another dent. Same size as before. Right in the center of the cushion. It didn't move at first. It just sat there, waiting for me to notice. And when I stepped closer, it began to rise. Slow. Smooth. Like something was lifting itself out of my furniture. I didn't touch it. I didn't breathe. I just understood. This wasn't about the rug. It was never about the rug. It was about me seeing it. And now that I have, I know exactly what comes next.